The glory days of gaming are back with Tokyo Xtreme Racer in 2025. If you told me last year that Genki would be back with a new Tokyo Xtreme Racer, I'm not sure I would believe you. If you told me that I would get the opportunity to one day playtest Tokyo Xtreme Racer early and be in a Discord channel with the developers of the game, there is absolutely zero chance that I would believe you. I've been playing this series since around 96 or 1997 when I discovered Tokyo Highway Battle in an IRC channel, and I have been hooked on the entire series ever since. So just to be able to play this early has been such a privilege and an honor, and I can't thank Genki enough for the opportunity. It's really cool of them to provide people this opportunity, especially to those of us who don't have such massive YouTube channels. But enough about all that. You're here because you want to know if the game is worth buying, and I can say with 100% certainty that it is definitely worth purchasing this game. I don't care if you stop this video right now to go play it, please go ahead and do so. But if you're interested in my thoughts and what I think about the game, then stick around because I got a lot coming. For those new to Tokyo Xtreme Racer, it is a legendary arcade racing series where you drive around Tokyo highways and challenge people to race. You do that by flashing your lights at people. What's new in this entry is you can challenge anyone to a race, including traffic vehicles, taxi cabs, trucks. Anyone you see on the road you can challenge to a race, and you'll get rewards for defeating them. There are wanderers around the map that will only race you if you meet certain criteria. Some things are really specific, like having your license plate be from a certain region, or some rivals also won't race you unless you have like a wing on your car, or you don't have a wing on your car. Some will race you or won't race you if you have nitrous, etc. So there's a lot of lore involved. You can usually get a lot of that info in PAs, which is really cool. You can figure that stuff out just by talking to people. They'll give you some tips, and it's really cool. It's something that no other racing game really does. Once you start a race with a rival, you both have an SP gauge. Think of this like a fighting game HP bar, where if you're in front of your opponent, they're going to lose some SP gauge. If they're in front of you, you're going to be losing SP gauge. You also lose SP gauge if you crash into other cars or into the wall. The map is split into sections that will time you as you race around it, whether you're racing a rival or not. There are also speed cameras placed around the map, and it looks like leaderboards are coming in the future, which is really exciting. One really cool mechanic is if you're behind a rival and you're losing the race, your SP gauge is going to lower, but at one point it stops lowering. So it kind of keeps you in the game, and it keeps it really, really intense. You'll be following a rival, trying to pass them, but at the same time, if you hit anything, it's game over for you. So you have this sliver of health left, all while trying to pass a rival. And when you finally make it past the rival, you have to keep it clean, otherwise it's over. The races seriously get really intense sometimes, and even though they last quite a while, they always leave me wanting more. Sometimes I wish the races lasted even longer than they already do. So first and foremost, the garage is where you're going to be taking care of business off of the course. You have a route menu on the bottom left that you can open up and access all of these options. You've got your dealer, your collection of vehicles, reference, which has to do with lore, as well as other things that we'll take a look at in a second, your perks, your garage, which we're in right now, your tuning to purchase parts, your settings to tune the car's parts, your aero or visual modifications, your livery, and of course game options. If you're interested in seeing all of the game settings, check out the description. I'm going to link my other channel, Only Settings, where I'll show all of the settings in the game as I do with other games as well. I want to make sure I get the latest version possible, so I'm most likely going to wait until early access actually begins before posting that video. Heading on over to the dealer, you'll see the maker list on the left. Now, I haven't unlocked everything yet. However, this is where you're going to be able to see all your vehicles, as well as custom vehicles that you can purchase from rivals that you defeat on the course. Collection is going to show a collection of your vehicles. You have a list on the left. You can choose to ride in, which revs the car up nicely. You can change your number plate, and you can, of course, sell the vehicle. Now, you can increase the value of that vehicle via perks that we'll take a look at in a second. The reference menu includes lore, as well as some things that are going to come in the future, so you can see all of your rivals' lore. If you click on them, you can also see your records. So you have segment records. Basically, the course is split up into segments, and it'll show you how fast you've done that specific segment and which vehicle on which day and the date. There are speed traps set around the course as well, so you'll have that information. And this coming soon tab, I believe, is going to be a replay theater. If you took a look at the Fuel Fest demo videos that are on YouTube, that said replay theater, so That's something that's probably coming in the future. Something else that's coming in the future are leaderboards. Hopefully that goes well. It's not riddled with cheaters, because that's probably some of the only multiplayer functionality we may see in this game. So hopefully that goes smoothly, and if the game is successful, we're all hoping that one day we can have a truly multiplayer modern Tokyo Xtreme Racer. Here we have the perk tree. You can purchase perks with battle points that you earn while racing. This first tab here is for your driver level, and you have attack power increase and defense power increase. So when you're attacking, you can do a little more damage to the player's SP bar. When you're defending, you're going to take a little bit less damage. You have a skill tab as well. Skills are equipable within the garage that we'll take a look at in a bit. And from here, you've got a ton of options. You can increase the SP gauge. You can lower the damage you take from walls, from other opponents. You can delay the deduction of your own SP gauge, etc. There's a lot to do here, and this is a great addition to the game as well. In the middle here, you have the perk section of the perk tree. And these perks are really interesting. Your wallet is limited at first. That's the total amount you have on the top right. I thought it was per session, but it's actually the total amount. So the most you can carry in the beginning is under 3.5 million. They changed this in a recent preview patch, so I'm not sure if it's going to change again before early access, but they kind of nerfed the amount that you can hold. This is where you'll also expand the garage. The good news is that the maximum garage expansion is 55 cars, and that should be able to cover everything that's in early access. You also have other perks such as dealer discounts, as well as discounts for the legendary tuner, which we'll look at later on in the video as well. The machine tab allows you to unlock cars for purchase. So these are locked behind defeating certain rivals. Once you defeat certain rivals, you'll be able to unlock all of the vehicles in the game. They're not available to you right off the bat. Under the tuning tab, this is where you will unlock part levels for your vehicles. So right now I have not unlocked level 3 yet. In order to unlock level 3, I need to defeat Cinderella past midnight, and that's the case for all of these. So basically you can't get OP too fast. You have to actually earn it. You have to defeat rivals, and then you can come back and upgrade your vehicle. The tune section is where you're going to be able to purchase upgrades for your vehicle. So you've got all of these upgrades on the left here. Of course, the levels are locked behind the perk tree, so first you need to unlock those in order to upgrade your vehicle here. The settings section is where you can tune the upgrades that you purchase for your vehicle, so you can set your alignment, your brake balance, your suspension settings, etc. The Aero section is where you're going to be able to change the cosmetics of your vehicle. These are purely cosmetic modifications that do not affect the performance of the vehicle. The livery editor is where you can change the color of your vehicle as well as apply vinyl to it. There is a 40 decal limit for the body and a 10 decal limit for the wing. There are several different categories of decals for you to choose from that are predetermined, and it really allows for a lot of customization. You're able to change the X scale, the Y scale, rotate, reverse, and mirror everything. You can also change the color of each decal. So back on the main garage screen, you can change your tires. There are 3 compounds to choose from: hard, medium, and soft. Soft is going to wear a lot faster than a hard tire. It may not be as good in the corners. I'm not sure if this affects speed, but it definitely wears. The good news is it doesn't wear as you're cruising around, at least nowhere near as much as when you're actually racing. And as we'll see later on, you are able to change the tires in the parking areas. Below that, you can equip a skill. These are the skills that we unlocked in the perk tree, and you can equip one at a time. So it's best to choose what you need at that moment. So this is the map screen. This is a massive quality of life improvement over the previous games. You can access this map when you course in, either from the garage or the parking area. You can also access it any time while you're driving around. There's a filter section on the bottom left that shows you which icon corresponds to what. You can see everyone on the map. You can see all your course in and outs. You can see the parking areas. On the left side, you have your objectives. So these are the objectives that you need to complete in order to progress. You also have a complete list of the rivals. And by clicking on anything, it's going to take you directly to where, each thing on the map is. So massive quality of life improvement over previous games. This is a PA. There are several around the map that you can load into from the garage, or you could just drive into one. You could do several things at the PA. You can change your car's settings. You can grab new tires at a cost. You can refill your nitro system as well. There are different rivals to race in the PA, and there are several people to talk to. Sometimes these people will give you hints denoted by like a yellow conversation marker, and they'll give you some tips on how to face specific rivals, because specific rivals and wanderers have very specific criteria that you need to meet in order to race them. So this is where you can gather a lot of information and, prepare to go back out into the race. Sometimes you'll also find a legendary tuner in the PA. What the tuner does is he tunes your car for a fee, and the tune only lasts for the night that you're out. So once you go back to your garage, the tune is gone. It's usually some kind of upgrade like a power unit upgrade or an exhaust upgrade, something like that. All right, so with all that out of the way, you're probably just wondering, how does the actual game feel to play? And to be honest, this is the absolute best driving model that Genki has ever developed. It feels the way you remember Tokyo Xtreme Racer feeling, but the way you remember Tokyo Xtreme Racer feeling isn't the way that Tokyo Xtreme Racer felt. Now, that's not to take away from the older games, because the older games still hold up to this day. I just recently replayed through them, and I was having the time of my life playing them. There's no other game in this genre that scratches the itch of Tokyo Xtreme Racer, and those games are always going to be special. But this version of Tokyo Xtreme Racer is the most polished and the most refined we've ever seen the game. They take everything from the older games and modernize it in a way that you would expect it to. The cars feel the way you want them to feel. The nitrous in this game feels amazing. It's that early 2000s nitrous that really hits hard, but at the same time, it's not cheesy. The quality of life improvements are there, and the magic that brings these games all together is still present. This video sort of ended up being more of an overview of the game than an actual review, because there isn't much for me to say about the actual game other than it's on its way of becoming the best Tokyo Xtreme Racer of all time. We're still in early access, and this game could have released in this state as a final release, and it would have been more than acceptable. Especially when you consider how long Genki has been absent. For them to come back and bring us a game of this caliber, it's to give us exactly what we've been wanting for 20 years without, conforming to the usual BS that you see in modern gaming it's really more than any of us could have ever asked for. And all that being said, this is a preview build of an early access game that is going to go into development for at least another 4 months, and from there be refined and gain who knows what in terms of content and features. So nothing's perfect, and this is technically early access, so some of the not so good things that I noticed about the game is, first of all, the image quality can probably be a little cleaner. I'm not sure if this is just a nuance with Unreal Engine 5 relying on TAA, but the image is a bit soft unless I DSR it and really push a really high resolution, but it's not a big deal. The anti-aliasing is decent, and it overall looks really nice. I just think the image quality could be a little more clear. The camera shake in chase cams is very excessive and can become really annoying for a lot of people. Luckily, I don't ever use the chase cam, so it wasn't an issue for me. If you use the first person cam or the hood cam, you'll be alright, but if you're a chase cam user and camera shake bothers you, it's most likely going to be an issue. Hopefully this is patched out before the day one patch on Thursday, but it's something else to consider. For those who plan on playing with a wheel, there's some good news and some bad news. The good news is it's off to a pretty good start. There are dead zones and linearity and all that stuff for each, axis mapping. You can map an H pattern shifter to each gear. The downside right now is that there's no force feedback implemented and there's no clutch support. So hopefully clutch support is added at least in the future, and I'm sure force feedback will come. It's still the preview week before early access releases, so I'm sure sometime between now and the game's official launch we'll get that functionality. Sometimes when you're racing an opponent, they will branch off into another direction and that match will end in a draw. It's a little frustrating because you don't know which direction the opponent's going to go in, and I'm not quite sure if they're on a predetermined route, but it doesn't seem like they are, because sometimes they've gone one way and sometimes the same opponent has gone the other way. So there's really no way to tell. Maybe the AI has a mind of its own and is thinking, I'm losing this race, I'm just going to call it a draw. For those curious about Steam Deck performance, you can pretty much get a solid 60 frames out of the game if you lower some settings to mostly low with some medium. You can run it at native 1280x800 with FXAA, or you can even implement TSR and run it at a lower resolution, and you get a solid 60 out of it. I'd only imagine that Steam Deck performance is probably going to improve over time, considering an update was pushed yesterday during pre-release that significantly improved the Steam Deck performance. Some even mentioned that they went from around 50 frames per second, 50 to 60, to a solid 60. So that's definitely a huge improvement so far. This is a no BS game that brings us straight back to the glory days of gaming. It's like if you were to take one of your favorite games from the early 2000s or late 90s and develop it today, that's what this game is. There's no always online. There's no online required. There are no microtransactions. There's no login system to bother with. Those things, to be honest, don't usually bother me in games, but I know they bother a lot of people, and there is absolutely none of that to be seen here. So if you're tired of all that garbage, support Genki. Support the developer that actually cares about their project. Support the developer that actually cares about their fans. This was absolutely a passion project, a labor of love, and if Genki gets the support that they deserve, there will only be good things coming to us. The game launches into early access on January 23rd for $29.99 USD. That price is going to increase when the game fully launches in about 4 months. So get in now while you can. This is one of the smoothest early access games I have ever played. Usually games that launch into early access are not in a good state. This game is in a very polished and honestly could have been released as is, and it would have been released in a way better state than most other finished games. So to close it out, Genki, thank you so much for making a new Tokyo Xtreme Racer. It's a dream come true for so many people. It's something that we've all been wishing for decades. I wish Genki the most success, and I hope people check out this game. Whether it's your thing or not, Genki deserves the support, and you're going to have a blast playing it. I guarantee it. I don't know why I just said that, but anyway, I guarantee it. Oh, I wish I had a little juice left. Nothing. You can hear it fizzle. Yeah, you can full throttle this. The team leader should be difficult. The little settle thing go to the left there. Won't work in this game. Oh. I didn't want to hit her. Which way are we gonna go? This race is insane. This race is crazy. I can't hit though. I can't hit. I'm gonna lose. SP bar stuck, but I can't hit. Oh! Actually getting a rush from this. No! Man, that was crazy.